we all have 24 hours in a day. And I believe that every person who's inching along, every person who is making progress in their own life, I believe that creates a lot of happiness. And so learning the self-mastery of how do I use my 24-hour period when I'm feeling good or when I'm sick or when I'm going through a tough time, and how can I day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, move forward every day. So, Move Forward Everyday podcast. We all get 24 hours in a day to have freedom, to experience joy. What is important to you? Who are you? And what makes you happy? Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Ruth Guillaume, the founder and CEO of MaryRuth Organics. And today we are going to talk about time blocking. This is the Move Forward Everyday podcast. And today's episode will be in live time, exactly what I have personally done for about 18 years of combining time blocking and the compound effect together. What's interesting is that you may love the whole example, or you might only take a few pieces that resonate with you. But the key is for about 10 minutes, I will share with you exactly what I personally do. Even though my method I would not recommend to everyone, I get asked this a lot, like, Mary Ruth, can you please share with us about time blocking, the compound effect, your iPhone notes, your iPhone calendar, your paper calendar. So again, I'm going to just as transparently as possible today share with you what I do for almost 2 decades now. I think that's over 150,000 hours of time blocking. And please, please, please do not feel pressure to do anything that I do, but I do think if you stay with us the entire episode, which will be short and efficient, I think you will find 1 or 2 or 3 things that resonate with you that you can try to do in your own life. I really got this idea to do this particular podcast recently on this topic because in the most recent Fireside Chat, which is a monthly Zoom meeting we have, it's free. We have over 1,000 people from our community, our consumers who take our vitamins. They come on Zoom at lunchtime, and then another totally different group of people come on at 5 p.m. that afternoon. And someone said that when I was talking about time blocking, so this is the time blocking journal, they said, Mary Ruth, like last month when you were talking about the time blocking, all she did was just make a list and try to do it at certain times of the day. And she said she's a mom as well, that this really, really changed her life. So it's very rewarding for me to hear how I explained it on the Fireside Chat. And then a month later, she came back to share with the group that she just took a little bit of what I was already doing and it made a big difference in her life. The whole reason I love this podcast and our team, the whole MaryRuth Organics marketing team said, Mary Ruth, can you just make very short podcasts? Is because I really hope at the end of this episode, you will write in your iPhone notes or write down in a journal or write down on a piece of paper something that you are going to do that will truly change your day-to-day life. The thing that I am the most passionate about is this idea that we all have 24 hours in a day, and I believe that every person who's inching along, every person who is making progress in their own life, I believe that creates a lot of happiness. And so learning the self-mastery of how do I use my 24-hour period when I'm feeling good or when I'm sick or when I'm going through a tough time, and how can I day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, move forward every day. So without further ado, I am very excited to break this down for you. So in no particular order, this is truly what I do. And it wasn't always this complicated. At first, I would just literally write down the hour on a piece of paper and what I wanted to do the day before. That was like my first version. But then over the years, as I had 1 child, 2 child, and the twins were born during COVID, and having those 4 kids in 4 years, plus being with the MaryRuth Organics team and just trying to be a good daughter, a good spouse, a good friend, I have added in all of those layers. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is create, either on a piece of paper or in your iPhone notes, your morning and nighttime routine, which is something we talked about in the very first episode of the Move Forward Everyday podcast. Is I believe so much in the power of a morning and nighttime routine, no matter how long, how short, how big, how small. It's an anchor to help you every day. I remember sharing that one of my favorite quotes is I read it in the New York Times at some point a few years ago is most people think they need to feel good in order to get going, but in reality, we need to get going in order to give ourselves a chance at feeling good. And so I really encourage people to start in this place. Creating a morning and nighttime routine is a micro version of a macro pursuit of where you want to go in your life. So some people already know that they want to be a veterinarian or they want to hike a very tall mountain in their neighborhood. Some people do not have a macro view or self-awareness about like what is their purpose, what is their passion. So I always say first things first. If you have something that is important to you, like a purpose or taking care of your family, like a big view, a big macro view of what you want to do every day and where you're going, then you can reverse engineer your morning and nighttime routine to be very connected. So the micro and macro will be deeply connected. If you are a person who's like, I want to learn more about myself. I want to have more self-awareness. I want to figure out what my hopes, my dreams are for myself, my family. Maybe you're a teenager. Maybe you're in college. What's incredible is that you don't have to know all the answers, but the act of creating a morning and nighttime routine and trying to execute it every day in a 24-hour period will eventually create so many green lights in your life and show you a lot about who you are and give yourself self-awareness that then you will end up having that North Star in your life, that macro view. So first things are 2 ways you can break down your morning and nighttime routine. I do it on paper, and a lot of people I know also do it on the iPhone. So first thing you could do on the iPhone is create your morning and nighttime routine. Then you're copy and pasting it below. So you write out in your iPhone notes, morning routine, nighttime routine, or you could use AI, whatever resonates with you. Then you're going to copy it and paste the same thing you wrote below. So you have 2 versions of here's your morning and nighttime routine in your iPhone notes, and then you copy and pasted the identical morning and nighttime routine below it. And then when you wake up every morning, you delete the copy and pasted version, like when you've gone for a walk or had your vitamins or had some sunshine or stretch, you delete it and then you copy and paste again for the next day. So that's the most eco-friendly version of how to do this. I do something a little bit different. I really just have to do this for survival purposes of having these 4 extremely young kids. Ethan is 8, Elliot is 7, and the twins are 4.5. And having them all go to school, having them, whether it's school, whether it's camp, getting them out the door by 7:30, it's a lot. So I use a piece of paper and I do photocopy it. So I write out my morning routine, which deeply involves getting my children ready for school, lunches, dressing them, breakfast, what they need. And I photocopy it. And then every day, as soon as I wake up, I'm the first one up in the house, I start crossing off what I can and can't do related to that morning routine. And it is the greatest part of my day. It is so comforting. Even if I can only do half of it, I like just crossing off the things where, okay, I don't have a lot of time. This season in the summer league, I coached my son Elliot's basketball league. The last game is in September, but it was July and August. And on those mornings when we had to go to the basketball game all 4 of us leave the house really fast on a Sunday morning, I would just cross off some of the morning routine I knew I wasn't going to get to do. But maybe the day before, Saturday, it was easier and I'm just listening to Elliot in the background, but it's okay. They don't need to cut this out of the podcast. Like, it's okay. It's real life. My children are home from school and they're about to go to school, home from camp, and we can hear some background noise, but it's okay. So, and then it would just cross off what I want to do. Same thing for nighttime routine. I love seeing at 6 p.m., I start to make dinner. We all eat together. Then everybody does the baths. Then we tuck them in. I have certain time I turn off my phone. I love having chamomile tea. Sometimes I will do a face mask or paint my nails once the children are sleeping. And I love having that morning and nighttime routine. So that's the first part of my day. My day begins where I have this locked in, it repeats the same every day. Now we're going to hold up the time blocking journal. So I'm going to rip out a piece of this paper for us. And I'm going to show you here. Here it is, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., all the way to 10 p.m. at night. So the day before the next day is when I time block what's happening. So this is the second tool I use. So I have the morning routine written on a different piece of paper. The day before, I will write down, taking it from my iPhone notes, all of my Zoom meetings or my Google Meets, whatever's happening. And then I will, around my work schedule, add in anything else there that's relevant. Is it a show and tell day at school for one of my children? Is it color war at camp? Anything I need to know. I usually rip out 7 of these every single week. I like to do it on Thursdays before the weekend. So Thursday to Thursday, I have 7 of these. And I write down the day before the next day, before 4 p.m., okay, what's happening? What are my work responsibilities? When am I eating? I went to a mom's school dinner last night. It was so fun, but I am able to see the day before, okay, this is what's happening. And what's great is a lot of times our days do not go as planned. And so what's amazing, which is an expression that's on the cover of this, it says move forward every day. It also says structure creates freedom, is that so many times every single day there's going to be things that happen that are not part of our plan. And it allows you to accept it even before it happens, because you have everything written down. You can move whatever you were supposed to do that day to the next day or the next day because it's all there. So we all want to be able to go with the flow, have freedom to do the things that we love. And I always say structure creates freedom, because if you can see what your responsibilities are, then if something fun and amazing comes up, like your child has a play date or they want to go to a last minute birthday party, you can see what's happening. So you're still very grounded, and just shift it to the next day and the next day. Or if you get sick, you just shift it to the next day, or you don't feel well, or shift it to the following week. Everything's just inching along. And I really believe that time blocking creates a lot of freedom and should be a tool that is not about hustle culture, but about feeling like you can see the macro view of your week and shifting as things come up that you didn't plan for you or your children or your loved ones, or maybe you take care of an elderly parent or you want to do something special for your friend. So far, we've talked about the morning routine on your iPhone notes or on a piece of paper, photocopied. Time blocking, AI has a lot of great time blockers. Harvard has done a lot of research on how time blocking is one of the best time management tools. I have these 7 pieces of paper that I take my meetings from my iPhone notes and write them out. Really helps me get through days, especially when I haven't slept. Really helps me to see like, okay, I have like this little bit left to do before the next day or before bedtime. Then I also use a paper calendar. And this is the last tool that I use. So the paper calendar allows me to have deep breaths. Like, I am the type of person, especially with my 4 beautiful kids, like I need to see the whole month. I need to kind of see my bandwidth visually. And I can't really see it that well on a laptop or on my iPhone. So I also like to write on my paper calendar certain birthday parties, certain sports games, certain holidays, certain times I have something very important with the investors at work. I like to see it all. Even today, when Joelle and I were going to film the podcast, I could visually see it when I looked at the month of August, and it allows me to feel at peace. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, I go to the paper calendar and I say, okay, I see that last Friday we took Elliot for his birthday to Universal Studios, and then I saw his birthday party, and then I saw we had basketball practice. It helps me feel at peace and very grounded to have that large paper calendar where I can kind of see the whole year. When do we have marketing summits? When do we have quarterlies? When do we have the board meeting? When do we have monthly reporting or top to tops? I love seeing it and I can feel excited about it. So just to recap, I personally use the morning and nighttime routine on a piece of paper. You can use your iPhone. I use a time blocking journal. You can use paper or you can use AI. I also use one very large paper calendar that I carry everywhere with me. I carry it in pretty much a duffel bag in the car with me. Okay, for example, last Tuesday we had work ended and then the dentist called, and because I had the big paper calendar, I could see everything and I saw, okay, I could take all of the children to the dentist the next day at 9 a.m., the week before they have to go to school. I love so much using all of these tools together, and I have done it for years and years and years. I think the key is to figure out what resonates with you, what is practical for you, what sounds like, oh, I would really like that. Like I do make very short to-do lists, and then I try to time block it in throughout that 7-day window. Or if there's a little bit more monthly tasks, I kind of write that on the big paper calendar and then try to time block it into the individual days. It is so deeply rewarding that I have dedicated so much of my free time whenever I'm doing donations or volunteering or lectures. I always talk about time blocking and the idea of the compound effect, the idea that these very small micro moments can compound greatly by the end of the year. And we've spoken about that in the other podcasts. I think we said 5 minutes of stretching a day at the end of a year is 30 hours. And your body will thank you for those 30 hours of stretching than if you didn't do it. And maybe just stretch the first 5 minutes of every show you watch that year. So again, it is my wish that you will try out consistently anything that resonates with you. Making a to-do list, adding it into a piece of paper, just having a to-do list with a big paper calendar, just having your morning and nighttime routine in your iPhone notes, coupled with your regular calendar on your iPhone. Each person is unique and only you know what is best for you. But I want to share that it is absolutely worth it to create this structure. I do believe it creates a lot of peace, groundedness, and freedom in your life. I am able to be a much happier mom and parent. I am able to be so much more present in everything that I do because of these tools, morning and nighttime routines, time blocking, compound effect, to-do list, paper calendar. And look, some months and seasons of our lives are going to be more difficult than others, but it is always worth the effort. If you used to time block and you got, life kind of got away from you and you want to try it again, I absolutely encourage it. And our team, the Mary Ruth Organics team and myself, we're always here. You can always email all your questions at wecare@MaryRuthOrganics.com. That's wecare@MaryRuthOrganics.com. We have the Art of Health for Busy People PDF. We spoke about that on one of the podcasts. So that is the 12 steps that are free and accessible to health and wellness. We have a free PDF time blocking document that we can send you at that email address. And thank you for joining us on this episode of the Move Forward Everyday podcast. Take care and be well.